What's the deal, YouTube? Welcome into the first episode of Courtside with Kurt, man. I am your host, Curtis Worsham. And man, today we got the season opener for the Detroit Pistons for the 2022-2023 season. And tonight they go against the Orlando Magic. And we just going to be breaking down my predictions for the team, what I think the team will be this year, how they fill out, how do I feel about the lineup, possible rotations, my game plan, what I think they should run on offense, defense, trivia. We got a little trivia at the end. And then we got some best dressed, man. We're going to see which players on the Pistons got the most swag, man. But, yeah, man, let's get into it. Last season, man, the Pistons went 23-59 and ended with the 14th seed. So just off of that, I'm not even going to lie, I really don't expect much from this team this year. I think it's just a development season. And if you give us, like, I say another 1 to 2 years, I think we'll be straight. I mean, for the possible starting lineup, I think ESPN has Cade at the 1, Ivey at the 2. Excuse my little twist sticking out. Don't you feel me? Don't get on me too much. I need a retwist and a lineup. But yeah, ESPN got Ivey at the 2 and then Cade at the 1. I thought that was pretty interesting because I think Cade should be at the 1 and then Ivey at the 2, or No, I'm sorry. I said that backwards. I think Cade should be at the 2 and Ivey should be at the 1. I think Cade should be at the 2 only because I think if you get Cade involved in a lot more off-ball action with his frame, his size, Cade setting off-ball screens on opposing guards, run that 1-2 pick and roll, that could be interesting. Yeah, bro, the Pistons can do so much in terms of just mixing and matching lineups just to see, where we are as with our roster. So who I think will lead the team in scoring this year, Cade averaged 17.4 points per game last season. I think he'll probably lead the team in scoring again, along with Saddiq Bey, who was number 2, averaging roughly 16 points per game. I think those two will possibly get the most shots up out of everybody on the team. I think Ivey will get his shots too. He'll probably attempt about 5, 6, something like that, something in that range. Not many like jump shots, but if we can get him out on the floor, obviously he'll attack the basket more often. But in a half court setting, I don't see Jaden Ivey doing a lot of spotting up shooting, possibly pick and roll, attacking the defense, getting downhill off of pick and rolls, maybe attacking the paint and possibly putting up floaters, or maybe going to dunk on somebody's center. Who knows? I think Saddiq Bey, if we get him involved in the mid-range, run a lot of pin-down actions for him, I think he'll get a lot of shots up. So, I mean, with this team, man, you could just do so much in terms of offense, right? You got Isaiah Stewart, who attempted, I think, maybe 5 threes a game in the preseason, and he was pretty much knocking them down. So if he can continue to show his development with that jump shot and just being out there on the perimeter, but that does take away from his rebounding ability. He led the team in rebounding last season with 8.7 rebounds a game. If y'all see me looking over to the left, I got a little cheat sheet over here, obviously. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all now, man, with this podcast, bro, don't expect me to be one of those analytical guys where I'm just, dropping stats. Like, yeah, I will reference them, like, if I know them, but I'm not finna tell you somebody's PER or, something crazy like that. Like, when you come to this podcast, man, we gonna kick it, we gonna talk hoops, and we gonna talk what we think should be done. And, I mean, that's just how it's gonna get done, you feel me? But, yeah, bro, so, in these next couple of years, I do expect the Pistons to take a gap, like I said, in possibly 1 to 2 years. I don't know. We don't even know if Dwayne Casey is still going to be around. I think Dwayne was a good coach out in Toronto, but, I mean, he just had better players, right? So, I mean, his philosophy with this whole switch everything defense that he's got us going through, I don't think that's the move. I don't think the Pistons have the depth, deep enough to, switch everything, right? You got Ivey, who's 6'2", 6'3", on a good day. you get him matched up against opposing big or wing, I mean, it's a wrap. Our defense is. So now I want to get into the backcourt for the Detroit Pistons, which features Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. So I think with those two players coming off this preseason where they really had a lackluster of a preseason, Cade had 10.5 points per game, 3 turnovers per game, 4 assists a game on 30% shooting. And then Jaden Ivey had 12 points a game, 4 assists, 3.5 turnovers, and on 34% shooting. Now, I think moving forward, it's going to take a minute, man. And I know being a Detroit sports fan, we get told to be patient pretty often around here. And I know it's getting frustrating, but I think if you get those guys possibly, again, 1 to 2 years, and I think, they're going to mesh well together. I think if you run the 1-2 pick and roll with those guys, again, going back to Cade's frame and his mid-range ability, ball handling ability, if he could just do the off-ball stuff, which I think he showed he can do in his first season, but I think it's just going to take a lot more of work and just being consistent and just learning one another's game. And Ivy can be such a crafty ball handler, if you will, if you get him in the pick and roll, and he can show off what he has deep in his bag, but whether that be off 2 feet, 1 feet, he's an athlete. And I think if he can develop a jump shot, like I said, a lot of people will and has compared him to Ja Morant. You see Ja coming in, somewhat developing him a jumper, where it's not all the way there, but I mean, you got to put a hand up on it and respect it. So I think if Ivy can get to that point, then he'll be all right, man. And lastly, man, we're gonna get into some best dress, man. We're gonna see what players on the Pistons got the best drip. I'm gonna insert some photos for y'all, man. Y'all can check those out. And then we're gonna get into some Pistons trivia. Pistons trivia is coming up, and I actually went 5 out of 10 on the questions. So I got a 50. I got half right, half wrong. It is what it is, bro. Most of the questions they was asking me was questions from the 90s and early, 2000s. Like I was watching the Pistons, but the years I was brought up, bro, we was losing. So it wasn't really much to pay attention to and know in terms of facts. But that is going to conclude today's episode 1, Pistons prediction for the 2022-23 season. And man, I just want to say I appreciate everyone tuning in for the first episode. There will be more fire content on the way. And yeah, man, thank you for coming courtside and chilling with Kurt, man. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. So we got Cade Cunningham starting us off with a little shirt, puffer coat combo off the jeans, off the fours. I get that look a solid 8.5 out of 10. Then you got Isaiah Stewart, cozy look off the essential chain. Probably get that look, probably a 7.5 out of 10. Then you got Sadiq Bey going with another cozy look off the Timbs. I probably get that look, another 7 out of half. This one is Isaiah Livers. He's coming into his second year. Don't know what he tried to do here, but he threw the dunks on. So just because of the dunks, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. You got Marvin Bagley. Not sure what the hell he put on, but it's still my guy though. Shout out to him. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. 3 out of 10. All right, so now we're gonna get into some of these little quizzes, man. I'm not gonna lie. This first one, I should have got that one right. I knew the answer was Miami Heat because they won the championship in 06, so that one should have been a no-brainer. Which one of these players was a captain of the 05-06 Detroit Pistons team? You got Ben Wallace, Rip Rashid, Tony Delk. Never heard of the Tony Delk guy. I ended up selecting Ben Wallace. Correct answer. Y'all can't, which of these Detroit Piston players did not make the All-Star team in 2005, 2006? Honestly, this one kind of, this one messed me up because I was mainly thinking about Tayshaun and Ben and which one I don't remember seeing. So this one kind of, tricked me up a little bit. Hence what took me so long to actually select the answer. I ended up going with Ben. The answer was Tayshaun Prince. So at this point, I'm at who is the backup power forward for the 05-06 Pistons? I guess Dale Davis. It was Antonio McDyess. Should have knew that one. How many times did the Detroit Pistons go into overtime? Like, come on, how am I supposed to know that? Like, let's be real. I don't know how I got it right. Who played basketball for Turkey in 2002 international games? Guessed. I recognized the last name Okor. Just went off that. This one was an easy one about Rip Hamilton and his braids. I actually used to have braids, just to look like him when I was younger. What year did Chauncey Billups earn the NBA Finals MVP award? 2004. That's too easy. In 2005, Chauncey passed Isaiah Thomas to become the Detroit Pistons all-time player leader in what stat? So I knew it was between field goals made and 3-pointers made. Excuse me. Got that one wrong. Should have knew it was 3-pointers, but it is what it is. Darko Milicic was the easiest answer because that's the only name I recognized for the Pistons. Bad Boys was another easy one. That one was a no-brainer. 4 questions left. 3 questions left. Let's see if we can clutch this one out. Which Detroit Piston was named? So on this one, I'm not going to lie. I totally guessed. I didn't even see Dennis Rodman's name on there, so that one was on me. Which Detroit Piston guard was an all-star every year? Obviously, Isaiah Thomas. That one was another easy one. Who was the first Detroit Pistons coach? So the last quiz I did, I guessed Larry Brown. I didn't even know who Chuck Daly was, so I just pressed Chuck on this one, and I don't know how I got the right answer. The last question, I guessed on this one. I don't know Ronald Murray or Dale Wilkinson. No disrespect to those guys, but I knew it was obviously either Rashid or Rip. And, so I got a certificate for passing 60 out of 100. Yep.